The lobby fell silent as the manager's voice cut through soft piano music. "Sir, I'm afraid you're not dressed appropriately for our establishment." Everyone watched the weathered older man in his faded jacket stand perfectly still, dignity intact despite the public humiliation. The security guards moved closer, hands clasped before them, waiting for orders. The Westmore Hotel on New York's Upper East Side sparkled with crystal chandeliers and marble floors. Tonight's annual Valor Awards charity gala would host the city's elite. Politicians, celebrities, and wealthy donors gathering to support first responders' families. Black ties and designer dresses filled the growing crowd. Frank Sullivan stood out immediately, 67 years old with callous hands and a simple navy jacket that had seen better days. His silver hair was neatly trimmed, his posture straight as a ruler. Nothing about his appearance suggested wealth, but something in his eyes reflected quiet authority and unshakable composure. As Frank turned to leave, several guests exchanged uncomfortable glances. The contrast between the opulence surrounding them and the manager's coldness created an unspoken tension. Frank's refusal to argue or plead somehow made the situation more unsettling for those watching. Blake Patterson, the 30-something hotel manager, wasn't finished. "Sir, this is a private function for distinguished guests only." His voice carried a practiced politeness that barely masked contempt. "The donation minimum is $5,000 per person." He looked Frank up and down. "Perhaps there's another event more suitable for your situation?" Frank spoke quietly. "I understand this is for firefighters' fund. I only wanted to—" "Security," Blake interrupted, gesturing to two men in suits. "Please escort this gentleman out. Use the service entrance." The guards approached as whispers rippled through onlookers. A young woman in a hotel uniform, her name tag read Sarah, stepped forward hesitantly. "Mr. Patterson, perhaps?" she began. "Return to your post, Sarah," Blake snapped. "Now!" As security flanked him, Frank's mind drifted to 30 years of service, crawling through burning buildings, carrying children to safety. He remembered the weight of his gear, the suffocating heat, the trust of his crew. Tomorrow was the anniversary of losing two men under his command. He'd come to honor them, not for recognition. The irony wasn't lost on him, decorated for courage, but judged inadequate because of a worn jacket. Sarah caught up with Frank near the service corridor. "I'm so sorry, sir. That was horrible." Her eyes showed genuine distress. The management only cares about appearances, especially during these events. It's all about impressing donors, not actually helping causes. Frank smiled gently. "Don't worry yourself. Some people value different things in life." "It's still wrong," Sarah insisted. "My brother's a firefighter in Queens. The way you were treated." She shook her head. "Sometimes respect has to be earned in unexpected ways," Frank replied. "Been that way my whole life." As Frank prepared to leave, Blake reappeared. "Sir, please use the staff exit," he said, holding open a metal door leading to an alley. It would avoid any embarrassment. The final insult hung in the air. Frank's presence was considered embarrassing to the hotel's prestigious image. Frank nodded once, his expression unreadable, and stepped toward the exit. The fire alarm blared just as Frank reached the door. Confused shouts erupted from the kitchen area, followed by staff running in panic. Thick black smoke billowed from the double doors, rapidly filling the corridor. "Fire! Everyone out!" someone screamed. Guests poured into the lobby, creating chaos as the main entrance became congested. Security guards attempted to establish order, directing people toward emergency exits, but the spreading smoke caused panic. Blake stood frozen, his training forgotten in the crisis. Reports filtered through. Kitchen fire, gas line, main exit blocked, fire department delayed in traffic. The situation deteriorated by the second. Smoke now seeping into grand ballroom, where most guests had gathered. Frank moved instantly, like a switch had flipped. He grabbed a tablecloth, soaked it in water, and tied it around his face. "Get everyone to the north stairwell," he commanded with such authority that people instantly obeyed. He moved against the crowd toward the thickest smoke where screams indicated trapped guests. Without hesitation, he disappeared into the rolling blackness. Through the chaos, Sarah glimpsed Frank guiding disoriented elderly couples from smoke-filled corridors. carrying a child on his shoulders and returning repeatedly despite the danger. His movements were precise, practiced, checking doors for heat, staying low, covering vulnerable guests with wet cloths. When part of the ceiling collapsed, trapping a woman in a wheelchair, Frank somehow created a path through falling debris. He wasn't just helping. He was coordinating the entire evacuation with professional expertise no ordinary hotel guest could possess. When firefighters finally arrived, they found most guests safely outside thanks to Frank's efforts. Inside, they discovered his abandoned jacket. Beneath it, a firefighter's uniform shirt with FDNY captain's insignia. Sarah recognized the name embroidered on it. Sullivan, 5th Battalion. "That's Frank Sullivan," gasped a young firefighter, holding the shirt with reverence. The legend from the 5th led one of the first teams into the North Tower on September 11th, saved 27 people that day, still holds a department record for civilian rescues. Sarah turned to Blake, who stood ashen-faced nearby. "He's a guest of honor," she realized aloud. Tonight's Valor Award recipient. The invitation said, Captain Francis Sullivan, FDNY retired, lifetime achievement recognition. The fire chief approached, removing his helmet. "Sullivan pulled 8 people from the ballroom before we got here. Man's been retired 5 years and still beats us to scene." He shook his head, smiling. "Where is he now?" "Medics are checking him for smoke inhalation," someone answered. He refused treatment until everyone else was seen. Blake attempted to approach Frank, his earlier arrogance replaced by shame. "Captain Sullivan, I deeply apologize for the misunderstanding. Had I known who you were." "That's the problem, isn't it?" Frank interrupted quietly. "You should treat everyone with the same respect, regardless of who you think they are." The hotel owner, alerted to the disaster and the identity of the man they'd humiliated, rushed forward. "Captain Sullivan, I'm Jonathan Westmore. My family owes you an immense debt of gratitude." He addressed the gathered crowd. "From this day forward, the Westmore will honor all first responders with the respect they deserve. Tonight's incident reflects values that have no place in this establishment or the city." 1 month later, the rescheduled charity gala took place at the renovated Westmore. A new portrait hung prominently in the lobby. Frank in his formal uniform, Medal of Valor displayed. Every staff member, including a noticeably humble Blake, had completed respect and dignity training. The hotel now offered discounted rates to first responders and their families. Sarah, newly promoted to events coordinator, guided guests through the ballroom. "The Westmore has changed," she explained to attendees. "We learned that true value isn't found in clothing or wealth, but in character and service to others. It took a hero who didn't look the part to teach us what really matters." When Frank took the stage to thunderous applause, he spoke briefly. "I accept this award on behalf of those who never came home, those still running into burning buildings while others run out. True service isn't about recognition. It's about doing what's right when nobody's watching and judging others by the quality of their character, not their appearance." As Frank concluded to a standing ovation, the question remains for all of us. How many heroes do we pass by every day without noticing? How often do we judge books by their covers? Share your thoughts in the comments about a time you misjudged someone or witnessed unrecognized heroism in your community. Have you ever thanked a firefighter or first responder for their service? Let us know. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that remind us to look beyond appearances.